they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing.
Like my cousin, sent me you, and I thank him for that. It was more of a, he thinks the whole everything's a joke. That just adds a little spice to it. But in the heart of what you're saying, there is real things going on. And people want to overlook that. And I'm telling you, Mr. Peterson, I'm not one of those people. And I thank God that, he showed you to me. And sometimes we just need some Jesse in our lives, I guess.
I wish we had more brothers like you. We need more brothers like you. Because we don't have most guys that can, lead black people into the right direction. And I thank you for that, because a lot of people will be like, man, it's still going on. It's racism. Yeah. And I try to tell them, watch his show. Listen to this brother. He's telling the truth.
Take no thought about tomorrow. Yesterday doesn't exist. And you're going to see, man, God is with us and all is well. Christmas is coming up. Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, all that coming up. I have some amazing books that would make for excellent gifts. I have the Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. And then Rage, From Rage to Responsibility. Check it out. Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black Americans. And last but not least, a little small pocket guide, the 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Just a little thin piece of book, but it's so good. So check them out. You can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. And I can sign them if you order them that way. If you don't want me to sign them, no problem. You can order from Amazon.com, all right? Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. He's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in on this fine Wednesday. What? It's Wednesday already? Fine Wednesday. It's a pleasure to be back with you today. Missed 2 days with y'all. It's already Wednesday. Hitting me like a ton of bricks, but it's a pleasure to be back, and I appreciate the patience, y'all. Okay, the Anchor Baby. Okay, the Anchor Baby. Don't call me a beta. The Anchor Baby was... Something heavy hit me, talking sickness-wise, but it's gone now in the past, so it doesn't matter. So don't even speak on it. Don't even repeat it in the chat. How you doing, Alias, Cloud, Bops, Ivana? What's up, cuz? Thor, Medrano, Kevin Howe. Pleasure to see all of you again. Okay, got a bit of a show for you today. We got a little bit of this and that to get into on this fine Wednesday. And we also got Punchy TV later, so you don't want to miss it. Okay. We're still together. Rumble hasn't kicked on. Thank you, Hake. Thank you, Hake, from the Hake Report. You guys were just watching his program. Great episode. Absolutely great. Errors on Rumble. Okay, I'm sure it'll work itself out. I clicked the button, Rumble. I'm clicking it for you. And you're telling me you don't want to start my show? Let me refresh again. I'm begging you, Rumble. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Thanks for tuning in. My lovely viewers on punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. And of course here on Rumble, here on YouTube. So thanks everybody. We're back at it again. We are back at it again. And if you got something on your mind, something you want to speak on, what's up, Rumble? I think you're connected. Hello, you're hearing me out there. You're hearing my voice out there. Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Very nice. And of course, my people here on YouTube. How you doing, everybody? Make sure you show some decorum, okay? We're going to take a little moment here to berate you. Went to a fat camp. Are you saying I went to a fat camp so I came back skinny? Or are you saying I went to a camp to get fat? We're gonna need you to clarify here, because if you say I went to a fat camp meaning I came back skinny, we're gonna have a problem. Nick got sick. Beta. See, this is what I was talking about. Ban that person. That person's banned. Nick got sick. Beta. Okay, that's another person that's banned. Ban all those people. Just joking, mods. We're messing around, mods. Some mods take it real serious. You look like a guitar tech for White Stripes, Nit. You mean fat and old? Look, okay, I'm bulking. Okay, and if you're saying I'm skinny, we're gonna have a problem because we're not there yet. Are fat camps for getting fat? That's what I'm confused about. That's what I was confused about, Chris. Fat, I don't know what this person meant. Nick went to a fat camp, meaning I came back skinny because they put me through it? Or are we still growing out this direction? You know what I'm saying? Because we stopped growing this direction. That stopped some years ago, okay? In fact, what's next, chat? Is it now this way? Do I start shrinking this way? Ban anyone who doesn't hit the like button. I appreciate that, Hake Report, for reminding me of the decorum that's needed in these times of chaos. Click the like button. Don't be rude. It's like you're either like a degenerate person out there just like, oh, I'm just mad. I'm just going to be mad. I'm just going to believe my thoughts. I'm going to walk in here and I'm going to be in my head, like not say hello and be in my own world and just think about what people think about me. Instead of just acting normal, just say hello. Nobody's thinking about that. Say hello. Click the like button. Come on in. Leave a little something in the chat for me or a comment. Whatever you like, okay? Incredible. So we got everybody here. You know the number. It's 888-775-3773. We're set here. You'd like to pass by, sir? Here, no. You don't need to do such a thing. Thanks. Nobody saw that. Don't worry. Maintain your dignity. We're having him walk through the camera instead of just what? I guess I'm showing the green screen though, so that's not profesh. No, Nick, just don't be beta. All right, I'll do it. Kill ego. Nit is putting on a little weight. You can see it in his face. Yeah, Albert. Okay, maybe it's all here. It's supposed to be here. The weight's supposed to be here. It's in the face. You're right. But I appreciate you noticing. Thank you, Albert. Okay, let's keep it moving here. I got to keep my algorithm pure. I understand, Kevin, the purity of the algorithm. But don't listen to everybody else. Kevin, look, you're not Kevin, okay? You're not at these heights. Calm down. Click the like button. Oh, but Kevin, click the like button. Don't be rude. Okay. I want to get it. Let me jump into it. I got some links for you, a little bit of this and that, things on my mind, the news. It's interesting. And some of it the same old. Some of it the same old, but I'm sure you'll like hearing about it, okay? Grow the beard, you'll be fine. Whatever, alias. Why are you always slandering me? It's called fatness, okay? Is that a little projecting? Okay, I'm done. I'm done, chat. Nice to see you back, okay? He's not putting on weight. It's just that his clothes are too small and his head is too big for his body, too. You win. Check this out, though. We need to deal with this. You know me. I'm the anchor baby. The American anchor baby. A contentious term maybe for some. American anchor baby. What is he in? What's immigration? That's a big one, right? It's a contentious one, so immigration stays on my mind sometimes. And I come across a little video. So I need to show this to you because we're talking about the GOP here. Our very own Republican Party. Supposed to be making the right on the side of good. We've won. Trump has won. I guess, do we run things? Do we have a majority still? I forget. But we have this mandate, right? Republicans are running things. And there's some fear coming up. They call it a midterm, okay? 2025 is coming to a close. They call them midterms. It's a number of elections coming up next year. Some are fearful. We're going to get slaughtered. They're going to make gains, the Democrats. And then what are they going to do with their power? They're going to impeach. They're going to go hardcore, which is what they do. Stuff I hear. It's somewhat true. You know, I heard someone describe Nancy Pelosi as ruthless the other day. And that she understands that majorities don't last. And that when you get it, they push everything. Their most radical policies. It was a description I heard. I can't confirm it for you. Pelosi, I mean, I saw her around when Trump was around, right? That's when I started paying attention. Is it a fair description? Maybe. Should we be like them? I don't know. I'll tell you this, though. All this talk about what's going to lose the midterms. I know that some things right now, and I know this because people have called me and I'm paying attention somewhat, even though my instinct is to not, at least in this particular topic, because I don't think it's very important. It's what I've heard talking about, and that's one to what? Epstein. That's one more recent. I'm thinking about criticisms of Trump, right? What'll ruin the midterms? All criticisms, some of you which you may have heard, and some that are interesting, worth discussing. Sure, you could call me 888-775-3773. I gotta say, with my what's the word when you don't have like a, what is it called when you use some sort of like device to scan something and you get very low resolution is the word. This is my kind of low resolution finger on the pulse. And if there's something that'll lose a midterm, if there's something that, and again, these midterms are what? I mean, there are a lot of like state elections, right? And I think that includes the gubernatorial ones. So this is where democracy, I mean, someone correct me where I'm wrong. I'm just an anchor baby. This is where democracy meets the road. This is where our system, the glory of our system, the people get to pick. I know the presidential election is important, although, but when you see it that way, am I wrong in thinking the midterms has its own local important place? For some that say local stuff is more important, it's more important. Wouldn't you say? And so what are the what are the senators, Republican senator? Let's go to Utah for a second. If there's something that's losing, it's the classic GOP weakness that we're already used to. The classic Republican, here's what happens when, and this is between a Republican Utah senator and Trump. Now, it's not like a spat, but essentially, Trump says something that's awesome and true, even though it's not politically correct, etc. And of course, the media comes out against him. The Democrats come out against him. Classic, right? These are to be expected. But then the Republicans parade around on CNN and they get asked these questions. I mean, they must know it's coming, right? Trump just called Somalians. He doesn't want them here. They're garbage and they're thieves or whatever. It's just look at their country. It's a reason why it's like that. And the Republican senators, they bring, I don't know this guy, folks. I don't know him. Utah, where are my Utah people at? You know this guy? John Curtis? Somebody get your mans. Utah, get your mans. Because he's out here on CNN. I'm going to just play this just a little bit, okay? All of us need to wake up every morning. So he was being asked about Trump lashing out at the Somalians, right? And I don't know, just listen to him, Republican senator from Utah, out of Utah, John Curtis. You could hear yourself doing the little, well, I don't know what he's talking about. Well, that's him. He's an individual, but this is what I think. Kind of the little like half defense, half disavowal of Trump, where, it's fine. I guess you don't have to answer such a question. They're just trying to come after you anyways. But let's just watch, because we all know what you're doing here, sir.
Control anybody but me, right?
I can't control anybody but me is how he starts this off. Just so you know, he's being asked about Trump's recent comments about Somalia.
Control anybody but me, right? And the best thing I can do is set my example. And I think all of us need to wake up every morning, look in the mirror and say, what are we doing? What am I doing specifically today to make this country a better country, to make all of our immigrants feel more welcome? That's what we've always had. And I think if more of us would do that, it would matter less what individual said.
Right. But as you know, he's not just an individual. He's the president of the United States, calling an entire community garbage.
So you control anybody.
So I don't know how the rest of that goes, but it's probably more of that. Uh-oh. That's controversial. Let me explain, miss. Oops. Let me explain. I'm not racist. He goes on to say, to summarize, you don't understand, miss. I'm not a racist. And that's like why is that so important? Because it stands in the way of like just a regular world, like politicians working for what they say they're supposed to do, for the voters, etc. You have the most insane, it literally is a spiritual battle, a demon in the minds and hearts of people, varying degrees of, in my mind, it's varying degrees of like acceptance and how you're using it, I guess, but they all believe in this insanity, this irreality. Is that a word? It's not reality. This framing of even just racism itself, that it exists, something to deal with. What are we doing every day? We got to wake up every day. What are we doing to make those immigrants more welcome? And you got to understand, it's not like we can't be nice to immigrants. That's not the point here. The only reason he's saying this is because that was his offering. That was his offering to this altar that persists in the hearts and minds of America. This altar of racism. It's so non-Christian. It's so not love. It's full of lies, and it makes people act foolish, because think about what he did there. In his offering to this altar, no, we're cool. He says, it's always been like that. You hear how he said that? That was a commentary on don't change the status quo. In fact, keep it going. That's all he's saying there. Now, we could get into the facts, Nick. But America was like this in 16, blah, blah, blah. And fine. But this commentary, what he said there, was an offering to keep that status quo, the racism status quo. And it's insane. The power still holds over society. And there's a big tug of war with the younger generations and all that. And it's like an upheaval. They're buying up the social medias. They're banning social media in Australia. It's crazy. And we could get into some of that later. But I want to just show how this persists in such a crazy way. I just saw this story earlier. We'll get into that in a moment here. On the JLP show I had not heard about. Kind of kicked this off a bit. It's just a crazy stabbing, sure, but another crazy stabbing. But this guy gets called the N-word in Portland. This is in America. And he gets acquitted. A jury acquits him. We'll get to that. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. And my calls, you guys are all coming in. I want to get to all of you. 888-775-3773. But they hate him anyway. Check it out. They hate him anyway. GOP senator makes pathetic excuse for Trump's anti-Somali hate. So it didn't even work. It didn't even work. It's a spiritual battle. Don't apologize for people that... you don't apologize for other people. You just like repent, like internally. You just see that you're wrong. Okay? And whatever that might look for you, I don't know, maybe you say something or you do something different. But the point is you repent. It's like, never apologize for people, because those are just evil people who want to control you and then turn around and call you the same thing they were saying that you were trying to apologize for and get out of or whatever. See, they hate him anyways. He makes pathetic excuse for Trump's anti-Somali hate. And, of course, it's just another article going off on him. Oh, he didn't, but he weaseled out of it, basically. To summarize this article, they're saying that he basically weaseled out of it because instead of condemning the president, he said, I'll just focus on what I say and do, which is fine. That's fine, right? So that's crazy. Look, and then not only do they hate him anyways for it, what did he in effect do? What did he in effect do by disavowing this, by even doing like a half, like, well, we just got to do the best for every immigrant. I don't know what Trump is saying. He in effect disavowed something that's true. What did he say that was a lie? He wasn't saying anything because he hates Somalians. He could say it about any country. He's describing facts. Facts that fly in the face of what some of these criminal politicians want to do, which is bring in thousands and thousands of people that don't like you. And you're just sitting there brainwashed like, they're just like us. That's the racist. That Trump guy's the racist. And so you're maybe even a woman, right? You're one of these women going to these restaurants, inviting Somalians so you could write letters for them. You're like, wow, I don't know anything about Somalians, but hey, the news told me this Trump guy's racist and he sucks. So you know what? That Somali is probably good. Yeah, that's not a good litmus test, ladies. That's not a good litmus test for your society. But they don't really think about those things. They just think about, wow, that's the evil guy, and he's racist, and that's not how I grew up, and that's not how I think, or whatever. So they hate him anyways. And I just don't get that. I just don't get that. It only makes sense when you realize that they have different motivations. They have, and I'm talking about, for example, in this case, this senator. Be motivated by, and I don't know specifically him, but it's been enough years I've come to know that it's not as simple as, it's democracy, I'm your senator, you voted for me because you wanted me to deal with immigration, that's what I'm going to do. Actually, your votes are not all the same. let me tell you the part that I don't say out loud. Not all your votes count the same. Some of you guys have more money. And you know, you guys and the guys who have more money want these immigrants. So, you know, I'm talking about the here's to summarize. Some of you already know this, but the little dance, the little economic dance our government does with foreign labor and our domestic issues, okay? It's an economic thing. So it's just crazy. I mean, they hate him anyways. I had to show you that. There's a number of things going on there. Because the thing is you got to look at that guy. And you think to yourself, well, he's a Republican, though. Who do I vote for? What do I do? And I don't know this guy. But I hear him talk. And I can tell he's weak. Maybe I just this one video. But we got to start being able to discern these things. And Trump was kind of a way to do that, by the way, folks. Trump coming around, for those paying attention, not getting swept up, just paying some attention. Trump was supposed to be for you a little bit of a lesson on how to discern these things moving forward. So you don't get these, look at that smile. Look at that little smile. He's like, vote for me. But also, let me say a line that I don't think any Utah voter ever said. What do I do? Let me wake up and think about what can I do for immigrants today? I don't think any of us, his like true American Republican voters, have ever even uttered that sentence. So who are you representing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, who would even utter such a sentence? That doesn't make sense. Even if you're like the most like positive immigration person, it's like, okay, what are you, just like a big phony all of a sudden? Let me wake up and think about what can I do for immigrants every day, every moment of my life. So anyways, I see I see that as a persistent persistent problem of the GOP, of if there's any losing issues, etc. If I may. Condemning socialism. I don't even know why I said it like that. It's not like I like socialism, but I'm reacting a little bit to the Senator Rick Scott. Okay, he's in Florida. He's another Republican. And he's making a big stink online about how the Democrats have blocked my House-passed resolution condemning socialism. And I'm just thinking to myself, what does that even mean for people? You know, like young people are so maybe uneducated, maybe just don't realize that doesn't even matter anymore. You say, but that's socialism. I don't know if that matters. We got to like drop the isms and just speak frankly about what's going on and how to fix it. I know that's just like obvious. Yeah, Nick, I'm voting for Nick. No, that's very basic. And I'm just not seeing that. And I don't know. Sure, condemn socialism. I don't know, whatever, fine. It's just I add this together with Ted Cruz going around and what's this guy? This guy here, Curtis, and I'm like, there's no GOP. It's like Trump, and that's it, and then us, and then maybe some people out there, and then the future. Maybe, I don't know. I'm in my head now about the future. What will happen politically with America? But anyways, there's your GOP. Where's the when are they gonna get with the program? What a mess. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll get to calls. I see all of you holding. Thank you. 888-775-3773 on this fine Wednesday. Let me not spend too much time on this. I have a number of links. And we could definitely move along a little quicker here. Incredible. You know, I got somebody on hold here. I got a Texas. How you doing, Chase? Appreciate your call, man, and you're on the air.
All right, let me close off the YouTube.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
How you doing, Chase?
I'm doing pretty good. I think I made the joke earlier to someone that should be illegal to have this much fun making this little amount of money.
Wait, what are you talking about?
I got next door I'm putting up my neighbor's Christmas lights. So I just figured I would get up there and do it. Jump around on the roof and have fun. Sometimes you got to get out, man. You got to get out and walk. And
yeah, you got some. I can hear the pep in your step. Actually, you sound like you're having. You sound like you're putting up your neighbor's Christmas lights and getting paid for it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think the amount of work I'm doing, man, it's probably, I just quoted something low. Quoted something low, so I can just get up there and do it.
I mean, I gotta say, just upon you mentioning it, after speaking with you sometimes, I've taken your calls. I gotta say, I think I do notice a little bit of pep in your steps, sir. How much are you loving these lights?
There you go. Pretty impressed with the first job because I didn't put Christmas lights up before.
You're like on the roof? Is there? There's no snow out there, is there?
Hell no, man. This is Texas. We get snow maybe. Kayla, when was the last time we got snow at all?
It was like that big. There was like that not shutdown, but when you guys had that blackout, no. But is that even all of Texas?
Yeah, it was like the entire state, like 10 days worth of nothing but snow. Just shut down the whole fucking state. It's actually just
keep it clean.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So lights and no snow. Hey, whatever. Yeah. I guess all Americans are. I mean, we can't keep Christmas from Americans just because they don't have snow. It might look a little funny, but hey, put those lights up.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're getting paid enough, then really matters.
Well, right on, sir. Stay safe up on that roof.
Come out here and help me. Fun.
Don't have too much fun that you slip off and hurt yourself.
No, but I got the homeowner thinking I'm going to, so it's kind of funny to watch her down there.
Nice. Keep it safe up there. Okay, see you, Chase. Take care, man, and Merry Christmas. Huh? No snow in San Antonio? His neighbor's like, what the F that food doing up there? All like excited. Chase on that Punchy's coffee. Look, Chase, just take it easy. Put up the lights one at a time. Okay. I've never put up Christmas lights. Okay. They were always there. They were ready. Okay. I had all the Christmases as a child. I've yet to have to do such work. Get up on the roof, put up the Christmas lights, and then leave them up there forever, right? That's what you do? You leave them up there past the January and all that. The Grinch That Smoked Christmas? What kind of movie is that? I've never heard of that one. I hate 2025. Stop. So anyways, Christmas is coming up, though. It feels like I haven't had any Christmases since I've been here in California. Now, internally, maybe I have. The cheer, the Christmas is in there. It's just, I'm just saying, I'm looking around, I'm like, Christmas stopped in 2019 when I came to Los Angeles. But I don't miss the snow. Here's the thing. I don't miss it. Yeah. Winter, where are my winter people at? Where are my winter people who left their area where they dealt with winter and now don't deal with winter anymore? Yeah, you guys don't miss it. Right? Obviously. 888-775-3773. You got something on your mind here? Because where was I here? I got a number of links here, a little loosey-goosey, but it was all interesting to me, so let me run it down. And we were dealing with immigration a bit. Immigration. And let me move faster here. So I had this here on Biden ignoring all the illegals, okay? So we'll do this quick. A little loose in my script. If I don't tell myself this, I'll spend far too much on the wrong thing. And we got a number of links here. But this was interesting. I came across this, and it was like this report about Biden and how it wasn't that he was soft on immigration. It was that he was new. He was his administration, his team told him multiple times, hey, your policies, let me pull this up, New York Post. Allow ads. Hold on. Oh, Lord. that he was told that it wasn't just like a soft on immigration, but in fact it was more like he was told specifically that, as it reads here, was warned by his advisors that his immigration plans could lead to chaos at the border, causing a potential surge which would create chaos and a humanitarian crisis, overwhelming processing capacities, and imperil the agenda of the new administration. What did Joe Biden say to that? He's like, an unrelenting stream. Remember that? An unrelenting stream. And it's like we didn't believe him or something. Maybe some people don't believe him. They say, I'm reacting a bit to some of this impression I have of the right wing that's like, they say, we're getting replaced. These Democrats are gonna be corrupt, and they are corrupt, but they're like gonna do this, and this is going to happen, and it's a lot of going to happen if we don't wake up, but it actually has already happened. It's like the replacement's already happened. And they said it. They were like, we're letting in an unrelenting stream because you guys are racist, and you just gotta, and they'll lie and say it's humanitarian reasons. They were saying it. And this might be obvious to some, but I'm reading this like with one question, like, okay. It's one thing where they tell us, okay, but there's just like a bunch of people at the southern border, and it's just something we have to deal with. But actually, you're telling me that these are surges. These are chaoses created by the government. That's what we're told. There's just a bunch of people down there. We just got to deal with it. It's a humanitarian crisis. No. How someone explain to me why any administration would make a plan to cause a surge. Because the thinking is there's already a surge. You just got to deal with it. That's not what they're telling us. They're telling us now that these are surges that the administration planned for, their policies would create, and their own team was like, hey, let's chill. Because even as much as you may love immigrants, this is not the way to do it. You're going to have a crisis. So even the immigration lovers were like, okay, but like hey, Biden, if you want to replace America, I'm cool with it. Let's replace all the white people. But hold on. If you do it like this at this speed, all those people are going to be they're going to be hungry. It's going to be issues. Calm down, Biden. Let's replace America in a reasonable pace. Let's replace all the Americans with immigrants and foreign labor at a reasonable pace. Biden, calm down. And Biden was like, an unrelenting stream, and he meant it. I know this may be somewhat basic, but I say this because these are basic. And these topics, they bring up all sorts of complicated things that you could just deny. And I think for many years, there was no space for that, I think, until Trump. And here's one example of what I mean. Like when they say, oh, but there's just no pathways. It's a broken system. You hear this about immigration. It's a broken system. When they say it's a broken system, meaning it's just hard to immigrate here. And so that they should make more pathways. It's a broken system. So fixing it is just let more in. And no one has is it courage? Is it just whatever to just say, how about we don't have to do that? We don't have to follow that framing. It's not broken because we're not letting enough people in. How about we don't have to do that? It's not, what are we going to do for immigrants? Let's wake up and ask ourselves, what can we do for immigrants every day? Let's ask ourselves, how about, hey, Americans, people who came here and otherwise, and those that were born here. When you wake up, how about you ask yourself, what can I do for my country? What can I do? What can I do, right, to serve others? But will any Republican ever say that? You know what I'm saying? Will any Republican ever say such a thing? So that was one little link I had there. Biden ignored immigration chaos. Bet you we kind of knew that, right? But I'm running it down, folks. I got interesting stuff for you. Like, Ilhan, we know this lady. We know her. But is she scared? It's scared. Hey, fellas, It's scared. I'm joking. That's such dehumanizing language. This is a woman, Ilham Omar. It's a meme when you say it's scared. I don't know where the meme comes from, but it's a meme on the internet, okay? It's scared. Check this out. Exhibit A.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said. On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders. At scale, migrants and their descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and his white supremacist rhetoric, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people in Germany. And, you know, as we know, there have been many immigrants who have tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from Ireland, Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants. And to me, you know, we're yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans. Yeah. We are citizens. We are productive part of this nation.
So I want to describe this accurately. This philosophical, intellectual, what's the word? Whatever. Clash that's happening here. But we are so degenerated that this Frankenstein of a point is just glossed over. But a lot of you describe this as probably basic. But look, there really is no sense here because she's saying it's basically like Nazis. It's like you asking all these people to assimilate is like the Nazis. It's Nazism. You're like, what are these? But think about the whole reason we're even saying such a thing is because of an anti-Nazi thing. So if you pull it back far enough, right? We're supposed to live in the anti-racist world. That's why we're assimilating. That's why we even believe in such a concept. That you could, maybe individuals, maybe, sure. I'm an American anchor baby, right? But this idea, look, you could just grab Somalians, throw them here. You could just grab Indians, throw them here. And as long as they believe in the Constitution, they're the exact same. Consider that is Nazism to believe that they should assimilate, but that's the whole. But it's like anti-Nazism and anti-racism to even believe in such a concept in the first place. That you could have this open society, blah blah blah. So which one is it? Like, I don't know if they're sending their best. I don't know if we have our best in the news, in the politics, in I don't know, news punditry or whatever it is that we're doing here. I don't think they're sending their best these days. Platitudes and isms. Call it a type of commentary that only works for the very dumb populace, I think. You know what I'm saying here? So anyways, that's the silliness of our world. It's almost in your face. It's a spiritual battle, how insane it is. You can't explain it any other way. So, black man acquitted. Like, this is what I was kind of even leading up to, I guess. Now, we'll have to familiarize ourselves a little bit here. I had just heard about this on the JLP show earlier today. Here's the headline: Black man acquitted of stabbing white man by Portland jury after victim said the N-word following the attack. There's your headline right there. A Portland, Oregon jury has cleared a black man of assault charges for stabbing a white man after it was revealed that the victim said the N-word after the attack. Gary Edwards was found not guilty, 43-year-old, not guilty of second-degree assault after knifing Gregory Howard. They're both the same age. Edwards admitted to stabbing Howard Jr., but claimed it was in self-defense after the victim had used racial slurs. Both men are homeless and have lengthy rap sheets. Oh. Video from transit cameras showed Edwards approach Howard, who was sitting on a bench from behind with a fixed blade knife in his hand. As soon as Howard sees Edwards, he jumps up and starts pushing him, and the pair briefly scuffle against a wall before Edwards suddenly stabs Howard in the shoulder. There's no audio in the video, but Edwards' defense attorney, Daniel Small, told the jury his client was approaching Howard to see if he would trade his knife for cigarettes. Police body camera footage captured Howard calling Edwards the N-word in the aftermath of the attack, after cops rushed over to intervene. Howard claimed he only used the racial slur after being stabbed, but Edwards testified the victim called him the word the moment he saw him. What other than racism could explain why Mr. Howard perceived hatred, animosity, and aggression from a complete stranger? Small told the jury. Look, the details, the minutia. Oh, but who did it first and all that? You sure you could get bogged down on that? You could talk about such things? Let's get the story straight. Here's what matters, is that none of that matters to this jury. That you could grab a number of citizens, right? Your jury of your peers, send out random letters, which I imagine is how it works, because I've received a random letter in the mail asking me to be part of a jury. I wasn't part of that jury, but I've received such letters. So I imagine, okay, a jury of your peers, you're getting random letters. You're telling me you were able to put together a bunch of people that unanimously chose, and I don't know if it's always unanimous. I think in this case it had to be unanimous, but I don't know. But at least the majority, I bet you unanimous, could all said to each other, wow, this was racism. That's how, we're sick society. We're crazy. We're crazy. There's no reason that we have to go around trusting experts, people with titles, more than yourself for your own life. And the world is telling you this, okay? Your professionals, your educated people think like this, okay? So yes, the world is crazy. You can, how do I put this? Like, think for yourself, right? You don't need to look to someone else because they're crazy. He was also accused of 4th-degree assault over a fight with a store clerk. This case was dismissed. These people have like a lengthy rap sheets. They always have lengthy rap sheets. Convicted of a felony rape of a child in 1997. I mean, where do they get these people? And then it's endless lawyers and judges endlessly advocating for them that they are simply, downtrodden, economically disadvantaged, mentally ill. They're young. They're just young. They're not old. They're young. You can't put them in jail. They're young. That's what they say. That's what they say. These juvenile things and now, I don't know, but the Portland N-word stabbing here, that's... Okay, I said Portland N-word stabbing, but I'm merely describing. I'm not saying an N-word did a stabbing. I'm merely describing. That's merely what I wrote here in my description for myself. You don't believe me. Okay, I'm going to show you. I didn't... That's not... I wrote Portland N-word stabbing merely as tags to remind me of the story. That's not me saying that an N-word in Portland was going around stabbing. That's not what I'm saying. Allegedly, that's what this guy said. But, okay, that doesn't mean that person should be acquitted. That's insane. So it's an endless... You see how the grip it has, this racism, this ism. Yeah, people have lost their minds. You could think for yourself. You can move. You can let go. I think you could drop the world. You could drop the world and whatever trends they're into. And you could think for yourself. If you needed proof, if you needed evidence. Okay? Okay, last thing on this. Disparate impact. You might be familiar with this. Talk about what do they call it? Systemic? They say there's they say that there's discrimination and racism and problems embedded in the American system legally, sanctioned. That's what they'll say. They'll tell you this with such confidence, never looking it up. And so this is coming from the DOJ Civil Rights Division. Okay. They posted this on the X account. And they're making a little change to our, our justice system, a little thing called our justice system. Let's going back to, right, Jesse was telling us about the civil rights movement, the big mistake that it was. I mean, we're there. Let me just show you some of the enduring, lasting effects of such a time, of the civil rights. What did we get for civil rights? So the Department of Justice rule restores equal protection for all in civil rights enforcement. And here's the writing here from the DOJ Civil Rights Division. The prior disparate impact regulations encourage people to file lawsuits challenging racially neutral policies without evidence of intentional discrimination. Our rejection of this theory will restore true equality under the law, requiring proof of actual discrimination rather than enforcing race or sex-based quotas on assumptions. Call it a step in the right direction, because you already have an issue when you have to call rights, when you have to say civil rights, It's already a lower standard of proof for so-called actual discrimination, because you have to assume this discrimination, so to speak, in the hearts of people. You have to assume this discrimination, and also assume that as if you're not allowed to do that, as if that's always just evil, it's always just someone being hateful, that's always just someone being mean, as if we don't all discriminate every day for fine reasons. But it's a step in the right direction. What they're saying here is they're removing this thinking from the DOJ Civil Rights Division. This division shouldn't even exist, is what I'm saying. But this is what they're removing. They're removing this whole idea of disparate impact. You're very familiar with this concept. This is just a fancy word for something you're very, very familiar with. And it's essentially this assumption of racism, this assumption of discrimination, when you simply see a disparate impact in different communities. For example, incarceration rates. That's just one. When people bring up incarceration rates and think racism and the police is racist and all that, it's really built on the disparate numbers of incarceration. And then the assumption from them forward that the difference in numbers has to be because of a systemic racist issue. You understand this? On that assumption alone, our DOJ has been running like that. Disparate impact. If there's less black people in this field, if there's more black people in jail, etc., without any evidence of intentional discrimination, as they write, that's how our system has been working. Enshrined in law. You got to understand, this is systemic for those who like to talk about that. Systemic racism. It's been systemic against white people, against America, against white people for decades. Decades and decades. Okay? It's been decades of discriminatory practices built on an assumption, right? That they're just racist. And so now we have to do a double racism against them. They don't say that, but that's essentially what happened. I don't believe in the ism, but So I don't know. This shouldn't even exist, right? The Civil Rights Division. I mean, the whole thing, again, was built on an assumption. Oh, but Nick, you needed that. You needed civil rights back then. Blacks were being mistreated and all that. Well, it's been some years of people calling in and telling me stories, me looking into it. I've come to my own understanding, and again, I wasn't there, but we can read the writings, listen to people older, etc. And you know what I think for myself a little bit? It's not everything you guys say. Not even close. It's mostly just people being people, having their own motivations, agendas, evil, whatever. And it's just human nature. Mutual combat in a lot of the cases between black and white. And a lot of excusing, because again, this race-based stuff I'm talking about, the civil rights, again, it's like for the minorities. So it's the disparate impact here has been the lying about, what's the word? The justification of all the wrong behavior of the protected classes. Anyways, so yeah, this is just a funny thing that came across my way. Disparate impact, hey, that's coming down from the DOJ civil rights. Shouldn't even exist. But that was coming down. That was coming down. Civil rights removal next. No need for so-called civil rights. What's next? Who knows? Some are afraid. They're shocked. This is old. This is tradition. It's been this way. Nick, what do you mean remove civil rights? What? I mean, the whole thing was like, it was the worst. It was one of the worst things that has happened. No, to blacks. I've heard this from Jesse. To America. So anyways, Nit needs more fruits and vegetables. You think so? So incredible. So where was I? Look, number of things to get into. We'll keep it going here. But I want to get to my calls. I want to get to a couple of my calls. Because we got to deal with a number of things here. AI George Washington, the Cinnabon girl, and Charlemagne. Okay, a number of things we got to deal with here. They're saying what we've been saying about having a woman, a wife. They called it misogynist. And but with each other, they're saying what we've been saying. How could they hide such information to young men across America? We'll get into it here in a moment. But first, I want to get to Freddy. I got Freddy out of Detroit, Michigan, first-time caller. I appreciate your call. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Coming in clear, Freddy. Thanks for your call.
Beautiful. How you doing today, man?
No complaints, man. No complaints. All is well.
Hey, I like to hear it. So, I'm listening for a second. He got into that. I saw that the DOJ disparate impact thing earlier today too. I was kind of, it was an interesting thing to kind of look into and read through. I know you gave your thoughts on it. What are like some examples of like for you specifically of like this like disparate impact shit or stuff? My bad.
Yeah, for sure.
That you're not into. Like what do you not believe in? Because like obviously the DOJ is saying like, hey, a lot of it's made up, and I do agree with that. But like I mean, like what's some stuff you've seen that you're not, you don't agree with?
Well, to summarize, and I'll give you one example. I'll give you an example first. One example is the talk of black incarceration. The assumption is that something wrong. There's racism happening. There's something wrong socially. Discriminatory practices are in place that explains the much higher incarceration rates of black males, right? And that's just wrong. That's not even normal thinking. That has nothing to do with facts and truth or just, when dealing, how about just raw numbers? It's an assumption. And it's an assumption is an assumption is an assumption. I don't know how else to put it, but that has no place in law, reason, look at two numbers and just because one is different and then make assumptions from it is not how you order reality. That just doesn't make sense to me. So that's one example, black incarceration rates.
I guess you. And I do agree with you on most of that because, don't commit crimes if you don't want to go to jail. But, what about, when in the 90s when the LAPD, admitted to only arresting black people on drug offenses to, artificially hike the number of black incarceration rates up?
Sorry, say again. You're telling me they had explain what happened to me, because I'm not sure I'm not familiar with that story.
Oh no, I mean like the LA police, relatively like genuinely corrupt organization. I'm for the police, like for the record. I'm not like some ACAB guy, but like, I mean, they did admit to arresting black people on drug offenses. Like, on
when was this?
More so than white people. This is back in the 90s, but I'm saying, like, I mean, like, even today, they still
what's the
admit to this sort of stuff.
I'm
just saying, like, if you put,
are you saying you don't believe because of what you're telling me with the LA, with what you just said?
No,
which I'd never heard before. But are you saying that? What have you concluded from that? Are you concluding that?
No, I'm not.
Blacks are not committing crimes or something like that? What are you concluding here?
No, of course not. No, that's insane. Anyone who says that is a fucking crazy person. Sorry, I don't mean to swear.
Thank you. Keep it clean.
Yeah, my bad. I mean, yeah.
So then how do you explain So then how do you explain the disparate numbers in incarceration?
No, I think that, I mean, it's been proven in some areas. Like, it's not across the board is all I'm saying. But it has been proven. I mean, if you put 120 cops in one neighborhood patrolling all the time, they're going to catch more people on criminal charges than if you put 3 in another neighborhood, right? Because you have more cops there, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that that neighborhood was committing more crimes. It just means they got caught committing more crimes, you know what I'm saying? And like, I mean, this has been a proven thing in some areas. And those incarcerated people are still incarcerated, so they still get tacked on the number.
Can you stay close to your phone? You might be either moving or something. I'm losing you there.
Oh,
just a tiny bit.
My bad, brother.
Stay close to your phone. Hey, way better. Thank you, sir.
Can you hear better? All right, beautiful.
So much better. Thank you. Okay, so you know what? I can even agree with that logically.
I'm just saying there's some areas that like the disparate impact thing like is real.
Hey.
Like, I mean, like admittedly by these police departments have explained like, yeah, we used to do that. We still kind of do that. We're looking into it. Like, it's not a fairy tale all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Fair enough. I mean, look, I can agree with the logic of that. More cops somewhere, more chances to arrest. Agreeing with such a logic, though, the question still remains: how then do you, Freddy, explain the differences in the mass differences in incarceration rates? And since you brought up a little bit more, how do you, Freddy, explain the differences in neighborhoods? Because I don't think Beverly Hills and South Central, if I may, or whatever. I don't think the difference between them is the number of cops. I mean, that's a big difference. But what I'm trying to say with that statement is, I don't think those neighborhoods were created by the number of cops that were there over time. Like Beverly Hills,
I
right?
I agree.
What do you think? How do you explain the differences in neighborhoods, and how do you explain the differences in incarceration rates?
Do you live in like a metro area of like a big city?
What's that mean? Metro area of a good city?
No, like outside, like, within like 15, 20 minutes of a like city.
For sure.
Like
no, I live in LA.
Oh, word. All right, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know much about LA. I'm not even going to speak on it then. But I live in Detroit, right? I live right outside of it. And, like, I'm not even trying to be some, like liberal lecturer. Like, stay with me now.
No, I'm there. I'm following. I'm going to drop all thoughts.
Like, Detroit. Now, you good. Detroit's one of the most, like, historically redlined cities, right? Do you understand, like, redlining as a concept, yeah?
Somewhat. Now the story is, correct me where I'm wrong, because I'm just an anchor baby. I'm a little ignorant, but I hear the story is that blacks were denied essentially loans, so to speak, and all that for I forget the exact story is, but I personally don't believe that statement by itself. I don't believe.
There's been at least in Detroit, like, it happened. They had to pay like a lot of money out. It was a whole thing, brother.
I know, but listen, you keep bringing up things that have like another side to it. Like, for example, you said if you put more cops in an area, and I'll let you speak at length. Thank you. If you put more cops in an area, you're going to have more arrests. And you've yet to answer, why do you believe? What is the differences? What causes the differences between neighborhoods and crime? And the differences, because look, you're saying if you put more cops in an area, you get more arrests. Well, Freddie, why were there more cops there in the first place?
I can get to that.
Okay, please explain.
My example. Yeah. Sure. So the thing about redlining as a concept is universally panned. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. Like, we woke up and we're like, all right, we can stop doing that. But so these maps are actually really interesting to look at. I'm sure that there's like a million of them for LA since it's a really popular city. Like I recommend just like looking at them. It's kind of neat to see. But like, so like, you know, in Detroit specifically, like big industrial hub, right? We had to build a factory somewhere. So when the housing like associations and the banks got together and they decided like, hey, these areas are mostly African American and or minority living for factory work, they're like, we're going to plan the city, putting all the industrial stuff, the highways, et cetera, through these areas, because what are they going to do? Ask for a loan, right? And it turned out to be a illegal, shitty practice that they ended up. I mean, like people went to jail over this shit, dude. Anyway, so like a lot of these areas that used to be redlined, that are the worst neighborhoods of Detroit now. I grew up Southwest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mexican town. Abandoned houses everywhere, abandoned lots. I mean, it's a ghost town. It sucks. It sucks down there, right off 4th Street. But like, it was one of the most redlined areas in Detroit at first, and so the banks wouldn't give out money to the people, and they just built these huge factories and these highways through neighborhoods, which led to them being abandoned, which led to people being homeless, which led to people being poor, which led to a higher crime rate back in the day. So then the city of Detroit, like central Detroit's more like upper class, white, you know what I mean? But they got to decide a lot for the shittier, worse
Keep
areas.
it clean, sir.
Yeah, no, my bad. But like, what ended up happening, like for real, I'm trying to get today.
I'm following.
They were like, all right, we're gonna throw more cops in these areas to make it safer, right? And that makes sense. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is that the cops would just post up outside of these bandos, and they would just wait and wait and wait. They would all day. I mean, they've admitted to this, just waiting for someone to jaywalk or someone to do something stupid so they could pull them over and say, hey, do you have an ID? And if they didn't have an ID, that's an arrestable offense. And so they would just bring them in, and that would count as an arrest, right? That would count as an incarceration, at least for the moment. So the quote-unquote incarceration rates of these areas went up dramatically in like 10, 20 years because of that, even though the crimes were on the same level as like, you know, more affluent neighborhoods like Dearborn and you don't know where any of these places are, my bad. But like the outside of the Detroit metro area, there's a lot of like rich cities. And those cities had cops and police funding pulled for them specifically to go into these areas. And so their crime rates, quote unquote, went down, but the crime rates themselves kind of stayed the same. You know what I'm saying? So that 100% has led to, I mean, if you're poor, you're more likely to commit a crime just straight up. So if you're going to keep keeping money out of an area and then also throw a bunch of cops everywhere to arrest anybody doing anything, like, yeah, I'd say that's a disparate thing. Doesn't mean you should commit crimes. I'm not making excuses for the people that actually commit crimes. They shouldn't be doing that.
But you kind of are.
The actual numbers can be fudged a little bit.
But you kind of
are.
I
mean, this is a proven thing. You know what I'm saying?
But you kind of are, and allow me to explain, because the things you're bringing up, you notice in every story you brought up, you leave out how does it start, and you leave it out. You're saying all these cops were put into a certain area and this and that area. Give me this XYZ story about them putting more cops here, taking them out here and all that. And nowhere in that story did you tell us, but why? Why did they start? Allow me to explain. Allow me to respond. Nowhere in that story did you tell us the reason. Why are there more cops there? Why were they just getting people for jaywalking? They called it broken windows policing, right? You're tough on the soft stuff so it doesn't grow into bigger stuff. You know, you never did answer that. And then you go on to the redlining, they were just denying loans, etc. And these people, Nick, you don't understand. They had maps and they knew this and this area was white and that area was black. And in that story too, you leave out, but why were they denying them loans? Were they just totally? Were they? No, I mean, like they
just because it's they admitted to it because of segregation. Like that's not like a theory. Like that's for real. Like it was a whole.
No, I know, but no, that's not. That's not by the way, that's not evidence. That's not evidence that we have our society believes in racism and lies, so that a police department or the LAPD come out and say, hey, sorry, black people. Look, every company, every institution out there is repeating this lie. So that doesn't really mean anything. How about we deal with real things? For example, again, let me finish what I'm saying here about starting in the middle of the story and leaving it out. It shows me, it tells me that you really put it like this. You're leaving out the beginning of the story. You're making it sound like they just started putting blacks in jail just because they wanted to.
No,
And here's the biggest problem with that.
Absurd.
And I'm almost done. I know. I appreciate it. It's my show, though. But then you can go, because check this out. Take this in. The biggest problem with what you're saying is that we're now living. You're repeating a prescription and theory of a time when people weren't able to see with their own eyes, and I bet you they could see with their own eyes. But now we have social media. Now we can really see the fruits of everything you're talking about. You're saying, oh, redlining destroyed these communities. Do you understand that you're repeating something that has been said for decades? The reason these communities are like this is because of redlining. But here's the sad thing, Freddie. Not many people are repeating what you're saying anymore, because the vast majority of people are now looking at these communities, are now looking at these places, and they're like, wow, I can now see why they're this way. And it wasn't redlining. We can see the fruits of people. We can see these communities you're talking about. And we can see why they're in the state they're in today. And it's not because of something that happened decades ago that I think was even before you. We can see why they are the way they are today. Do you deny that these communities, lower income, whatever, are full of problems?
Yeah, no, I'll get into it a little more. You're right. I worded it really badly. Yeah, it is absurd to just say, like, oh, it's just redlining. Like, of course not. Anyone who says that is just a liar. Like,
would you say it's because of their own? Would you say it's because of the people there today and their actions and behavior and character today?
To an extent, sure.
Which one is it more? Is it the past, or is it today? The people's character today?
Well, I can give you. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I can explain if you give me a second.
Sure. Can you tell me after you answer which one it is? Which one is more? Is it more?
I think that it's a mix of both.
Go ahead.
And like, that's not even just me. That's not a theory. Like, there's not a lot of people out there that are like, yeah, it's only the people. I mean, it's cool if you got that opinion. God bless America, baby. You can say whatever you want. But like, yeah, I'd say that a city pulling funds for all public schools and then closing down 3 of them in an area leads to lesser graduation rates, which leads to no one going to college, which leads to more people joining gangs. I mean, yeah, which leads to those gang members either getting shot or put in jail. Fair enough, because they did that on their own accord. I agree. But then their children who didn't do anything, they end up growing up without a father. They end up growing up without any money. They end up growing without a house. And those people end up becoming homeless or just poor. And they are more likely to commit a crime because of it. So I think that, yes, of course it comes down to personal responsibility. But I think it's a little naive to assume that it's all, people should get over it. Like,
and why do you hate?
It's not just my opinion, brother. Like this.
And why do you hate people so much?
Do I hate people?
Yeah. Why do you think so little and negatively of people like that?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just listening to you talk. It's just like, oh, but it's, they took money out of here, and it's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's fault. Somebody else's fault. So I'm just here listening. I'm like, why do you hate people so much? Why do you think so nasty of people? You just look around and you see a bunch of victims. You're like, someone else's problem, someone else's problem, someone else's problem. And you don't think they can overcome? So you look at people and you're just like, look at you. You look at you sick victims. There's no overcoming for you. Why do you think so negatively of people?
I am people. I don't really. I mean, I guess I do get what you're saying. Okay, hold up. Let me think on that. Yeah. So you're saying that if we blame, anyone else, then we're thinking negatively of ourselves.
Look, you can. No, we can talk about things specifically. We don't just have to be general. You can bring up a point, and we could be like, is that blaming or not? But I'm just saying in general. You just gave me a bunch of things. You were like, the money got taken out, the redlining, da-da-da-da-da. It's been excuse after excuse, and I'm just wondering, how do you see people?
For what, though?
For their state. You had to go back to redlining.
Yeah, well, I mean, the majority of Southwest,
for the state of their lives.
The crime rate. Yeah, the crime rate in Southwest isn't even as bad. It's literally just poverty, which can directly be traced back to having no money.
At what point are people responsible?
If it's a crime to be poor, then I suppose, sure.
At what point are people responsible for their?
I'd say probably about 50 years after practice gets abolished, which we haven't even reached like a 30-year mark on a lot of these. So I'd say give it some time, and I think that the community will prosper. Detroit is prospering like a crazy right now. Actually, they're having a big resurgence specifically because of community funding projects. Like we've seen a direct correlation between giving more money to communities and communities having less crime rates.
Where?
Where?
Yeah, where? Yeah, I want that. Yeah, where has that happened?
So downtown Detroit is a really big.
Where has that happened?
example.
Where you give more money and you've increased
riverfront.
education rates? Anything you said, literally anything you just said. Give me one example.
So some of the areas of downtown Detroit near like the sports arenas and stuff, they had to get all pretty when Little Caesars Arena got built to bring in tourists, which was like a big controversy. They were like, "Oh, they're only making the rich parts pretty."
That's not the same thing, man. That's
no.
That's
I'm getting to it.
city beautification. That's development. That's contracts. I'm talking about giving money to these charities, the things you're talking about, and it actually turned into less crime, higher educated people, more graduates. Please tell me, give me one example.
So I guess the map of Detroit is kind of hard to explain. It doesn't really matter, but we have
definitely not downtown Detroit. Right? Let's try a different one.
What do you mean?
I said you're right. I'm with you. Definitely not downtown Detroit. Let's try a different one. You have any example?
What?
Where these programs give? Yeah, please. My bad. Go ahead.
You, bro. Seriously. So there was a big issue with like parks and shit, right, being completely worn down, and specifically with schools. So a lot of areas surrounding like the downtown area, specifically Southwest, they started installing a lot more like public parks and then helping with like tree canopies and bullshit like that, stuff like that you don't really think about. They started adding things like that in your schools, which led to a lot of like kids and adults, whatever, just hanging out at parks instead of hanging out in bandos, and it led to a lot more like economic resurgence. Small businesses started popping up, which led to more people being employed. I mean, like giving more money to a community leads to more employment typically, which leads to less crime because no one wants to steal.
Wake up, Freddy. Have you walked around? Have you just looked at America? Wake up.
Yeah,
all the people are fat and sassy on the government teat. They're getting money, they're getting food, and they just decide. And what do they do with it? They're like, let me just become worse. Stay outside, be homeless,
but they're not
problems.
Getting worse. So what are you talking about?
You're using an example of using tax money to beautify a city, to beautify a park, and you're like, well, yeah, look, here's one thing, Freddie. Economic stimulus. Economic stimulus. Here's the thing: you're putting underneath economic stimulus.
I'm not talking about food stamps, by the way. I'm talking about community.
But to you, it would be the same thing.
That stuff is corrupt.
It's hard.
That stuff I don't agree with. I'm talking about community like funding for like businesses and shit. Like I'm not talking about
keep it clean, man.
Food. All right, fair enough.
Freddie, man, I appreciate your call, sir. Can you call me again? Talk about at length.
I want you to explain.
What was your question? You didn't ask me a question.
Do you not think that giving more money to communities helps communities?
I don't, and it's been proved. We see the fruits already. You're stuck in old thinking, man. This has all been proven already. You're stuck in old academic thinking that's like, we got to do this charity and do all this stuff. Well, guess what? We already have the proof. Go to the communities you're talking about. You're talking about downtown Detroit and lying about it. I know, and lying, and you're lying about it. And we can see it for ourselves, man.
Why am I lying?
You're saying,
what do you think I'm lying about?
Downtown Detroit is an economically.
Do you know what? Yes, it is. Look it up. Economic growth in Detroit has been on the rise since Kwame.
I'm sure it has, but since what? Since what? Kwame.
Since we had a pretty corrupt mayor for a while. He ended up getting outed. He went to jail, and then a lot of the corruption money ended up getting dispersed around. You can look it up. It's actually
look. You can stick with it, man. That's fine. That you can stick with that thinking.
Why do you think I'm not lying?
Stick with
that
I might
thinking. Be a little misinformed, sure, I'm just saying. Definitely not trying to.
I don't want to convince you. You can stick with that thinking of mama needs to help. But you can stick with that thinking, no problem at all. It's just we've spent plenty of time on this, Freddie. Can you call me back? We could talk at length about other things.
I suppose so. I don't know. I'm not lying to you, but I might be a little wrong on it. I'll look into it. I'll look into it from your perspective.
Yeah.
But I'm not lying.
And call me back with another question or comment. I'd love to speak on it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for having me, bro.
For sure, Freddie. Call me again.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
All right. Detroit. Mama, Jesse, Minnesota on the air. How we doing?
Hey, how's everything? How you feeling?
All is well. Jesse, thank you, man.
How do you, are people donating to your show and the Bond show?
Of course. Well, yeah, I got my viewers who love me. What do you mean?
Well, I'm just making sure because is Church and Bond and Anchor Baby and Hank, is it helping the community that you live in? Like, is it helping the surrounding areas?
Of course. Just ask everybody who comes here.
That's what I figured. Yeah, I figured that. I was just listening to the last caller. So giving money.
Go on.
Yeah, so giving money to the community, does help. Obviously you guys are a charity, but giving money to you guys, which I do also, is helping the community and helping, people just, stay happier. They have a safe space to come to call your show. And they know that their kids can call the show and be themselves. So, I appreciate it.
Totally, man. And people who freely donate do so because they see the same value, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I see the value in investing in a community, so to speak. When I don't disagree at all with, I wouldn't call this a handout. It's just that I personally wouldn't call this a handout. When the government deals with crime, cleans up a street, and makes it great for business, that's not a handout. That's not welfare. That's not socialism. That's just doing things right. And of course that's going to work, and it's going to economically stimulate an area. And guess what? And the opposite of that, allowing crime to run around rampant, blah, 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 is not going to work. You're going to have terrible areas, and then those people are going to call my show and say, why is racism in the government doing this to those people? And it's like, no, those people are doing it. And that's really what my point was.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. How's your week looking so far? Is it busy? Looking good?
Great. Yeah. Back after I got I had a little bug there. We had stuff coming out. We had concentrated evil coming out. I don't want to say it. Coming out both ends. That's a joke, folks. I know it's gross. Concentrated evil, but we're back. We got a nice week ahead here. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, I love calling in.
Yeah, man.
And I hope more people. I wish I'm able. I'm going to make it I'm going to make it like a road trip. I'm going to put it on my bucket list. I got to come to
Mecca.
one of the churches.
You got to come to Mecca.
I got to.
Bond is like Mecca for people sometimes.
And I'm coming on the stage.
Yeah.
Tell Jesse Lee, I'm coming on the stage and I'm showing love. I'm not scared to show my face.
There's no point in. I mean, he might let you just for that. I really don't know, but he brings them up if you're nervous, and if you're full of courage and no anxiety in you, there may be no point. There may be no need to bring you up on stage. But right on, man. It'd be a pleasure to meet you. So many people come from around the world, man, and it's like. Isn't Mecca the Muslim thing, right? The big black box that the Muslims go to?
Yeah, and you know what it is sometimes?
Yeah. Bond is like a Christian Mecca here in America, but go ahead.
It's so interchangeable, again, it's a symbol. But I feel like that the box is so interchangeable because I use it. You can use it in Christian methodology. You can use it in Judaism. You can use it in Muslim. I mean, it has a space because obviously the cross is an opened up box. I mean, if you know anything about geometry,
you're right. Yeah.
So it's like
topography.
It's like when you don't look at it like from like an evil place, you look at it from more just I'm just trying to learn about like what is this? I could, you know what I mean? Like I could care less about anything more. Oh, it's just a geometry thing. Oh, okay, cool. And that's
yeah. Right on, sir. Well, it'd be a pleasure to meet you if you do come. Thanks for your call. Anything else you want to speak on before we move the wheels?
Hey, one thing. It's Hake, not Hank.
That's true. Right? Thank you for
the
correction. People out here acting crazy. Sir, call me again.
All right, you too. All right.
Although I don't believe he minds. I don't think he minds. I call him Hake sometimes. I'm like, James, sir. I'm like, I'm talking to a person. I'm like, does he know that I know I'm talking to a person? I'm not just talking to a host. James, do you know I'm talking to a human? I see you as a person, man. And so I'm like, James, let me call him James. And then I remember, and I'm like, James, how are you today? I've been messing around. I don't know what. Bond is the Wailing Wall. Come and meet. Make your pilgrimage. Make your pilgrimage. Okay, some say you won't be allowed into heaven if you don't go to Israel. And I definitely want to see Israel. I would love to go if we did like a Bond crew thing. When Derek was saying he doesn't want to go because of the war stuff, I was thinking he's just saying because it's just dangerous right now, right? Like, I don't want to go anywhere where there's a war, like active war, right? But, it's been going on over there, right? We wish the Jews well, and the Palestinians. Although, they're angry. But anyways, look, it's a mess. But look, some say you can't get into heaven unless you go to Israel. You can't go to heaven unless you come to. Maybe we could do like a double thing there. It's like I can't make it to Jesse. I can't make it to Israel. Can I just make it to Bond? Now, that's just me saying that. You'll have to ask Jesse about what gets you into heaven. So, anyways, we still got calls to get to 888-775-3773. Let's see here. I want to get to you there. Hold on for me. I want to get to you there. Let's see here. In fact, we got a first-time caller out of Kansas City, and I appreciate your call. Go ahead. Brandon.
Take myself off speakerphone so it doesn't sound like I'm talking in a can.
Thank you, sir.
Says.
Coming in loud and clear, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, man, I really enjoy your shows. It's the first time I've called in, I believe. I've called into Hakey Poo's show before, and then Jesse.
Are you the creator of the term Hakey Poo?
No, but
okay.
I was around for that invention. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Well, welcome.
I don't necessarily call him Hakey Poo. I just call him Hake. And then if you type in Hake on YouTube, it just automatically types Hank. So that could be where a lot of that's coming from.
And I always get the fish, too. I always get, like, dishes, how to cook a hake, how to cook hake the fish. I get hake dishes when I type in hake. But I do get the hake report.
Today, sorry to interrupt you, but the reason I was calling in today was, just, I guess, be a voice of common sense compared to the other people that were talking about, giving money to communities and watching them, I guess, do a 180 or flourish. And I'm 46 years old. I was born in 1979. So when I grew up, it was Rambo and Mike Tyson and, Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme and all these, hardcore dudes that just basically went around kicking ass. And, you were taught to be a man back then.
Is that a cuss word, chat? I feel like it's totally chill for me. The A word, but go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's the world I grew up in. It doesn't sound bad to me, but go ahead.
It's not. It's, I'm totally lost in this new world. Everything's so sensitive and you're walking on landmines. I've got like a list of words that
Isn't that just a donkey? But go ahead.
It really is, So I don't really care about any of that. I do what I want to do. I've always made my own path. I grew up on the other side of the tracks, as they say. I dropped out of high school at 15 years old. Never went to college. As a matter of fact, I, grew up being a man from a young age because that's what we were taught to do. And ultimately, I didn't let any circumstances stop me from being successful. So I make, around $180,000 a year. I drive a Porsche. Again,
don't
no
dox too much info.
No college education. Well, no, listen, the reason I'm telling you this is because no matter what, you can come from any background and be successful. It's a state of mind. It's a mind frame. You either have it or you don't. You can feel it inside of you. It's like a fire that never dies. You might have fluctuation, but it's called willpower. And, I'm married to a black woman for 18, 19 years. She's never once experienced racism in front of me or without me because it's a mind frame. You either see things that you want to see or you don't. And some people, like Jesse says, they like to live in their hell. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But the reason I was calling in was, I'm 46 years old, Kansas City area. And, I've lived on the high side of life and I've lived on the streets too. And I will tell you, people in the hood, the neighborhood, as we call it, where I kind of come from, 9th Street and Troost. It's just complete foolery down there, in the hood. Yeah. People are scamming, tricking. They don't want to get better. They grew up in this lifestyle, some of them, or some of them put themselves there in that lifestyle. Some of them don't even know what they're doing yet until it's too late. The hood is a different place. And I will tell you, it's not like one type of person in the hood. It's not like everybody's just the same. You got whack jobs that are just nuts that belong in a loony bin. You've got gangsters, real gangsters. You've got Italian gangsters. You got black gangsters. You got, people have been in prison their whole life. You got murderers that turn themselves around. You got murderers that are still killing. You got thousands of different personalities in the hood. But the thing that is consistent is the mentality and the actions. And that's why you have the hood. There is no nice neighborhood without the hood. There is no good without bad. All this is necessary, guys. We're in a simulation. I know you've heard this before, but we're in a simulation, and we're just supposed to sit back and watch the movie. We're not judging. We're not trying to help. You cannot help a situation that is necessary. You don't understand. Like, I had a near-death experience, and in that near-death experience, I called this in on the Hake Show. I was shown my whole life. And what was crazy was everything that I thought I was doing to everybody else, I was doing to myself. So what I mean is, I saw videos of my whole freaking life, thousands at once, and I could see them and understand them all. It would be me, fighting with my mom, or going to school, or playing baseball, or having sex for the first time, or whatever. And it sounds crazy, but everything is everything. So like when you go and steal from somebody, you're going to find out you were stealing from yourself. You're going to feel the pain. You're going to feel the loss. You're going to feel everything. So keep on going out there and, think you're getting over on people and thinking that energy won't come back to you, because it's the most terrifying thing I've ever went through in my life. I was 21 years old. We almost hit a tree in a Mustang after I was being really careless with my life for many months, broken jaw, DWIs, bar fights, having guns pulled on me, about, just all kinds of stuff I put myself in at 21. And then, I think God showed me something. It was the craziest near-death experience I think that anybody could have. I like I said, I saw my whole life, and I felt all the energy that I thought I was doing to everybody else, and it was turned into me. So anyway, long story short, you cannot fix the Matrix. You cannot fix the movie. The movie is necessary. You can spend your whole life trying to help these people. They're there for a reason, And ultimately, I'll just end by saying this: we're not fixing anything. Just sit back, watch the movie, worry about yourself, worry about your family, worry about your relationship with God, most importantly. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Brandon, man. Great call. I appreciate that. Kansas City, can you call me again?
Yep, I will.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
True say. Yeah, we're messing up our lives thinking all this stuff that's not true. Thinking there shouldn't be a winner, there shouldn't be a loser, there shouldn't be a poor person, there should be this, shouldn't be that. I guess you could call that morality, some made up reality you're living in. And you're like, I need to help these people, and those people are evil. Everybody's in the situation they deserve. And you're crazy thinking that it's not that way. We're in our situations because of our own character, flaws, and really the lies we believe. Believe in lies, man. And I'm sure some of you guys could relate to. I'm sure we could relate to some of that. He was saying, it's the mindset. You got to pull yourself up your bootstraps. You guys making fun of that. Some of you guys don't like that. It's a very old, it's almost like maybe it's a cliche at this point or something because it's been repeated so much. I know the GOP loves it. You got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You guys are laughing at like it's not true that it really is in the mind. You notice you set out to do something, and then the next day, you're full of doubts and thoughts about it. The world didn't do that to you. Your parents may have not set you up to understand what's going on, but they're not doing that to you, especially not past 18. Nobody's doing that to you. You're doing that to yourself. Okay, amazing. Let's keep it going here in the last bit of the show. Let's switch it up here. Wait, how do we switch this up? How do we do this? What's next here? No, this is next.
Your body.
Ooh, is this bleeped?
Makes you a better.
We're talking Cinnabon lady. What's going on with her? What's the story with this lady? They're calling her name is Crystal. Crystal? Is her name Crystal? Give, Send, Go hits 100K donations for fired Cinnabon employee. Online donations for a woman who was fired from a Cinnabon location in Wisconsin after a viral video showed her harassing a Somali couple with racist comments have topped 100,000. Crystal was fired from her job at Cinnabon in Wisconsin. She was repeating racial slurs, admitted to being racist. And so they got her the money. You know, this is just the latest in a string of, I guess, women throwing out a slur, making money from it. Not all of them were so lucky. Not all of them. Some of these ladies are standing on the shoulders of giants. Some women who never got compensated, forgotten, time and the internet forgot them. I'm thinking Bagel Karen maybe a little bit. Call her on the Hake Report. Where's her payout? And they're saying the Cinnabon lady is a libtard. I guess they found her social media. And they have women's... This is a lawn, I have to assume is hers. Women's choice is on the ballot. Vote Democrat Biden Harris. Is she a libtard? Libtarded? They're saying they harassed her for days. Somalis aren't so innocent. They kept coming back for the reaction they wanted.
What's recording doing for you?
But
Get the f out of here.
see, I'm not guessing. This is the part where I'm a little hazy. Like, is this a separate incident? Hold on. Let's see if we can sleuth some of this. Which incident is that, and which incident is this? Because are they implying that there were multiple? This person is saying they kept coming back for the reaction they wanted. But hold on. Is this like, are these separate incidents? Ex-Cinnabon worker to black woman. Paint your face somewhere else. Fat, effing, bug-eyed, B-word.
What's recording doing for you?
Just show me who you are for what?
Get the f out of here. You painted your face. I remember you without
Oh!
You can go and pretend to be 5 different people. I still know who the f you are.
Oh!
You put a bandana on your f***ing head, bitch. That does not mean you can come back and harass me.
Oh, I mean, we're just getting, right? We're watching this video. This is allegedly that lady, Crystal, the one in the Give, Send, Go. If we're to just watch this video and just kind of gather information here, it seems like this lady, Crystal, if that's her, is that her? If this is Crystal, I mean, we're gathering info from this. It seems to be like this was a recurring thing. She was saying, you don't think I recognize you? You paint your face or whatever. You come with different bandanas or whatever to harass me. Is there a bit of a campaign here from these people? I don't know what kicked it off for them to come back and look for more. Maybe she's reacting and they're like, you know what? This is the one. This is our mark. This is who we're gonna go viral off of.
Just because you put a bandana on your fucking head, does not mean you can come back and harass me.
Just because you put a bandana doesn't mean you get to harass me, which makes me think of, now, do I even have that footage? I believe the footage that went viral, this Crystal lady, I believe allegedly is being harassed over not wearing like a hijab and stuff like that, not covering herself up. Server error. What the? I believe this was the link I'm looking for. Hold on. I believe that's the story. I'm about to confirm that for you in a sec here. Hold on. Either my link is broken here or something, but I heard that she was being harassed over not covering up, essentially, like a Muslim woman. I bet you if I type cinnabon, I'll get it all. I'll have it all.
Sexualizing your body makes you a better person.
Are you recording?
I'm gonna record you. Yes.
Do you want me to throw water on you?
Sexualizing your body makes.
She seems like she really didn't like that. Coming out with threats like, I'm gonna throw water on you. She may have like a what's it called? Like a heightened energy here. And look, you want to say, but Nick, I mean, wouldn't you understand? Of course. I mean, if she's being harassed in this way, I don't even like that word, harassed. But you can understand it, sure. But it's at these times that it's more important than ever that you be perfect. Oh, but Nick, she was being harassed here. I mean, can't you understand? She's a little hyped up and emotional. I can understand it. But it's at these moments that it's more important or imperative more than ever that you be absolutely perfect. That's why you must overcome anger. That's why you got to pay attention to these things, because there's no excuse for it, because you just put yourself into more trouble. But they started it. They did this. They did that. Imagine you're a white person, a white male or something. Don't you know you have to be more perfect? And I hate saying that, right? Because I saw the black parents say that to their black children that tell them, hey, you got to be more, you got to work double hard. You got to be double the decent citizen because, racism or something. So I hate even saying such a thing, but look, this really is for all people. Look, you have to be perfect, especially in these situations. If you're not, then what comes to you, comes your way. And you might even bring it upon yourself a bit due to your anger. She's like, I'm going to throw water on you. Again, I can understand it. It's a mutual combat, really. They're coming at her. We don't know how it all started. But it's in these moments you must be perfect. It's imperative that you're perfect. These are the moments for that. You are practicing. You're dealing with your anger. You're watching yourself for these moments so that you may be perfect for these moments. It's when it matters. When the chips are down and they're filming you, trying to get you to act angry or racist. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not even getting you the straight story, am I? This is terrible reporting on this one. The cinnabon lady, I mean, look, you know that she's getting the give, send, go. You know she's been fired. Do we know the minutia, the back and forth? Maybe not. I mean, look, it's heavily it's heavily implied that they've been harassing her multiple times. It seems like they may have targeted her, and I really don't know how this all started. So what am I saying? I mean, this is still wrong, though. In what world? In what world are you not allowed to? Right? If it's mutual combat, you're gonna. You see how they pick out the white person saying the wrong word as the true crime. And if the story is as I'm hearing it, again, I'm leaving space because I don't know all the details. If the story is as I'm hearing it, then the real story is that some Somalians were brought in from far away into this country, given everything. And it's like, Nick, you don't know what they were given. If you were led into this country, you were given everything. Okay? Yeah, maybe you're working hard, and that's fine. I'm not going to take that away from you, and smart and you made your own business and all that. But in the grand scheme of things, you were given everything. Okay, you're a guest in like an amazing country. They bring them over. And what do they do with their technology, with their phones and their newfound freedom in a country where women and children are not at risk to being raped? I saw some news report about Somalia, okay? Don't sue me. And what do they do with that freedom? They go and film some woman. And they're like, why aren't you covering up? Let me tell you how to live. And not only that, film it. You know, I really just don't believe that. Like, if it's true that, I just don't believe that it was just religious. Like, hey, you need to cover up, young lady. What was she even wearing there? She's wearing normal cinnabon uniform. I don't even believe that. Why do you take your phone out and film that? No. I don't believe that. It's far more malicious, in my opinion. You know, people just, these days, you bring out your phone and you're like talking about racism and you're filming a white person. What are you looking for here? You're looking for that viral come up. I don't believe it. I don't trust that stuff. I don't trust that. So that's the real story. And so that's why they're giving her the gifts and go. Some people get that. And it's wrong. Anyways, I want to get to Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. How you doing, Maze?
Hello, Nick. How are you today?
An absolute pleasure, Maze. I'm fine, and now I'm doing great. All of a sudden, I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, really? I do that every day. That's the way I feel. But listening
You do that to
noise,
me when you call.
Huh?
I'm saying you do that to me when you call, Maze.
It's when listening to the noise and people hate each other for no reason. It makes no sense. They're living in the head for free. You know, to Somalians that didn't, whoever that wasn't born here and those that was born here, they're living y'all head for free. Because that's how you talk about. I said you are here to think the way you do. You're supposed to hate somebody because somebody else gave you directions to do it.
And then what are you talking about here? Because I agree, Maze. It's living in people's heads constantly. People have, and they have no reason to hate. I'm with you on that, Maze. That's crazy and an exhausting way to live, and people should overcome that. So, in what way am I doing that, you think?
If they did, they would be happy. There's always trying to find something against black people that showing little videos and clips and something that they do. You're living in their head. They're living in your head for free to spread it.
Yeah,
I mean,
for some people.
Spreading all this stuff that we see. And then skipping over, so like, who do America belong to? America belongs to everybody that was born here. That's where I see it. Because everybody participating in making it to what it is. And for those that ignorance is living in their head against other people, something definitely wrong with them. I don't care who it is or where it come from. To where you can't get along with somebody from another country, the Arabs, the Ethiopians, or the Muslims, or whoever are part of this country too, to tell them that they can't run in office and just like everybody else. The Europeans can run in office and be presidents. They can be lawyers. They can be part of the Congress. Can't nobody else be? But they all pay taxes, and so they're supposed to be there to help the people, not to help themselves. But what we're looking at, and I've always been looking at from both parties and everything in between, they're there to benefit themselves, and you out here having an argument for them.
Fascinating, Maze. I gotta say, I agree with some of a fascinating call already. You're calling in with like standards to being an American, something I don't think I've ever heard you say. You've never really, I don't know if I've ever really heard you put a standard or put a sort of limit to what is an American and what isn't. You're saying here on today on my show, you're saying being born here is part of it.
That's right.
And so I guess we could start there, right? So if you're not born here, you're saying if you're not born here, we could start with them, right? If you're not born here, you're not American.
I mean, should you be running, if you're not born here, why would you be running anything in America? Or why would you be dealing with anything that has to do with America?
Interesting. I mean,
Elon Musk.
I'd take it maybe further, but we could start there. I agree. So the Somalians, all those Somalians, Afghans, Pakistanis, Indians, all those that weren't born here, they should go.
I didn't say they should go.
Okay, so help me understand. I thought you were saying that
I was saying that
I thought you were saying that if you were setting a limit, and you said being born here is that has that you
being
have to have
born
that
here, everybody
to be
should
an
have
American.
the same. That's what I said about being American. Being born American, you should have the same opportunities as everybody else.
So the people not born here should not have the same opportunities.
Not over on Americans, they shouldn't.
Oh, I agree. So all the Somalians, Afghanis, Indians, Pakistanis, all those people we're talking about should go.
Were they born here?
They weren't born here. These ones in particular weren't born here.
Well, should Elon Musk been doing what he was doing and he was not born here?
You said what? We can get to that, but let's start with the people.
That's what I'm talking about. People like him.
Well, let's start. You're saying you're saying we're
and they shouldn't have
we're having a conversation about
yes. Who
about
has the
like
right
limiting, about discerning factors over, what's a positive person to have here or not. You said being born here is a big one, and that's an interesting one. You're saying Elon Musk maybe falls in that category of not born here should go, not an American. Do you have any other limiting factors?
He shouldn't be.
What
do
makes
I have
an
any
American?
other?
Yeah.
And they shouldn't have dual citizenship because dual citizenship means that you're working for two sides, not one. And you want to make America great again? I don't see nothing great that they've been doing to make America great because, people like to travel. And it's getting to a point where people don't want to see Americans coming, period.
Huh?
That's what they forget on the outside. You can come into America, but we can send you back and tell you what you can do and what you can't do.
So,
but then you want to go to their country and have fun and do things, and you don't. I mean, it's just dwindling down the road to nothing.
Hey, that's called tourism. You could do both. You can have like a strong. I think you could do. That's crazy that you think they're mutually exclusive. Like you could have a country that has strong borders and says, "Hey, no, we're not going to replace our people with immigrant populations, but hey, you can come here and visit, and we could be cool."
Well, that's the way it should be. They used to do it that way.
That's not how it is, though.
It's not now.
If you come here, you could just lie and say you could like come here and just like lie and then be a citizen and then your children's and your cousins and your abuelas and all that, you could bring them over.
But what
and then they could be Americans too, and they weren't born here. You're saying Mays called me today, say those people that weren't born here shouldn't be Americans. Guess what's happening?
You put words in my mouth that I didn't say. You put words in my mouth that I didn't say. I said people that were not born here.
My bad. I thought you were saying if you weren't born here, you're not American.
I didn't say that.
Okay, help me understand.
I said just because if you were born here, you have the rights that everybody else have in this country. Those that were not born here have no business being in an American business, and they don't have dual citizenship. That means you cross the line.
Right. So all these immigrants we're talking about.
Country. So why should they have dual citizenship?
Who are you talking about? Because I'm thinking we're talking about all these immigrants that are born
about
here.
both of them.
But it sounds like you're just talking about Elon Musk.
No, I use him as an example.
It's not, but I'm bringing you examples. The Somalis, the Indians, all these people. You're like, no, not those people. And no, they don't have to leave. So like I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Just like the man that just won the mayorship in New York, he was born here. So why are they having to about him? He's got just as much right as anybody else. Just like what's her name? Omar. She got just as much right too because she was born here. If she wasn't born here, just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was born here. He ran for what?
Right.
And he ran governorship. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mace.
So they had no problem.
Okay, so
certain people that they have a problem with. So why should you hate them? Why should people be hating them?
No, we shouldn't hate them. Don't hate.
Well, then it's all I hear is hate.
Is saying
what they shouldn't be doing is they taking over. Nobody's taking over this country. This country gave it away.
Why is that hate?
What?
To say that, why is that hate?
What do it sound like to you?
It sounds like a fact.
You should go back to
it sounds like you're describing a fact. If you say, oh, all these people are coming over and they're replacing the people here and they're taking over the institutions, why is that hate?
If you hear somebody saying who they want to come into this country and who they want to not come into this country, everybody should be welcome.
Why?
If they don't have a record of committing crime.
Why?
So what's wrong with that? But then you got people sitting here.
No, the why
like,
though? You said everybody should just be here.
You can go get a passport and you can go to other countries.
You're saying two things, Maze. You're saying everybody should be here, but also only people that are born here.
Nick, what are we looking at America do?
Huh?
What are we looking at them doing?
No, wait. Don't move on so quick. Don't move on so quick.
I'm not moving.
You're saying only people that are born here should be American, but also anybody who comes here. Why are you saying both things?
I didn't say both. See, you can confuse in your head. I said what I.
You said anybody should be allowed to come here. That's what you said.
I said unless I said they got a passport, they should be able to come here and visit and go back home. Just like a lot of them went to school, they shouldn't be thrown out because of some ignorant
Okay,
stuff.
cool. So we're on the same page there. So let's say we were both. Let's say it was a Gonzalez Mays presidency tomorrow. All people that were not born here are instantly deported. Okay, so we're on the same page there so far. Now let's deal with the people already here. Do you have any thoughts on? Let's say like you mentioned the guy who became mayor in New York. Are you saying, is there any other factor that makes him an American to you, Mays? Let's say, for example, believing in free speech, believing in the First Amendment. Let's say believing in the First and Second Amendments. Let's say is that a requirement to you, Mays?
It don't seem like it is today.
Is it a requirement to you?
Yes, it is. So is the Constitution and everything else.
Well, did you know that the vast majority? Did you know? And I'd like to maybe even bring up the stats for you. But did you know that the vast majority of these immigrant populations that are born here do not support the First and Second Amendment? Did you know this?
No, I didn't, and you don't either.
I do.
And you do.
You
know? How many of you know?
You and I both support the First and Second Amendment. You're telling me if you're not born here, you're telling me. We figured out in this conversation that if you're not born here, you're not, stay out of America's business. But to me,
some of them do. You got more people in America
being born here, but being like a different ethnicity, you could still be an American to Mays, right?
If you were born here, yes.
But not if you don't believe in the First and Second Amendment. Well, guess what, Mays? All those people don't believe in the First and Second Amendment.
How do you know, Nick?
They say this. They say this openly. They have the stats on it. You can look it up. But they say it openly.
You was born here, but your relatives are from Canada, right?
Right.
So
my family's from Colombia. They're actually from Colombia.
Wherever they're from, you go visit them, and they come over here to visit you. But then certain people can come and visit, and certain people can't. What's wrong with that picture?
Wait, what? In what world? What are you talking about? Certain people can't visit where?
Certain people can come and visit America, and certain people can't because they stick to kind of.
It seems like everybody's allowed to come in here, and there's no limits. I don't know what America you're talking about. It seems like there's no limits to that.
So why can America go to other countries and do things?
What?
Why can Americans go to other countries and do things?
Because Americans act normal and they act right.
Really?
Yes.
That's not what I hear.
Yes.
Because some people don't want to come here
when our people go to visit other countries, they're on their best behavior.
Really?
Mostly. Yeah, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to, it's true.
Compared to what?
But look, compared to what is a great question because I don't even know what you're talking about, Mays. Here is the point. To summarize what I was saying, let me just summarize for you, Mays. Here's the point. You're saying if you're born here, you could be an American. You're bringing up. Allow me to say this. Okay, you're bringing up the difference between like blood and like soil, I think is what you're saying, right? Like there's a difference. You're saying it's not like blood. It's not like, oh, if you're white, you're an American. No, it's like if you're born here and you have the right mentality, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Even if you're born here, you don't have to go and get treated right.
But that's what an American is to you, right? If you're born here and have the right mentality, not skin color and blood.
No, not thieves that being pardoned and all this different stuff that have committed a crime in America and they get pardoned and everything else and they've been sentenced to jail. And then they get pardoned and then work in the American government because they were stealing in the first place. So you don't stuck them over there to steal some more. No, those kind of people don't need to be working in the government.
I have no clue where you went there, Maze.
No, I know you're lost.
You're not.
But I know one thing.
We're not talking in the same conversation. So
no, we're not. We on.
So allow me to just clear it up. All I'm saying, Maze, is guess what? The people you're talking about, even if I agree with you, right on, Maze, it's not blood. It's not if you're white. It's if you're born here and have the right mentality. Well, guess what, Maze? Even if I agreed with you on that, the people that you're talking about don't have the right mentality. So what are we arguing about here, Maze?
What is the right mentality? Because you got.
How about let's start with believing in the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. Let's just start there.
And what else?
That's just one thing. One place to start. Many things. How about the assumption? Wait, what was your question? What else?
Everybody don't even have the same voting rights.
I know, but we're talking about people coming in.
That's not what I'm meaning. If you were born here, you should have the same rights everybody else have.
Oh, my bad. You said voting rights. I thought you said something else.
No,
but look, all I'm saying is the people coming in don't think like that. So
okay.
So your argument doesn't even matter, Maze.
Oh, it doesn't. But
Yeah, because the people born here have the wrong mentality. So,
but you over in
that's the
other
point.
people's countries. You over in other people's countries blowing up people. And you
Did she
gonna turn
even
around
hear
and talk
that
about
response?
how
I don't
violent
know if
other
she even
people
heard
are.
that response. All I'm saying, Maze, is the people born here
That's
don't
all I'm
have the
gonna
right
say.
mentality. That's all.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know what you said, Maze, but hey,
Go outside of these borders and blow up other people in other countries.
you're going
and
to
tell
something
tell
else.
people it's their fault.
You're going to something else, and we don't have time.
I'm
for
telling you what's wrong. that's what we're talking about.
And I'm not listening, Maze. But
I
hey,
know it. I don't want you to listen. I'm giving you what's on my mind. I don't want you to listen. I'm just telling you what's on my mind and what I see.
right? You're saying people born here are American, but I'm
We
telling
all
you that
don't
doesn't
look the
matter
same,
because
we
even the
all
people
don't
that are born here have the wrong mentality.
When the ones that's born here don't even get the same rights that everybody. Some on the outside.
You're making that up. What? Right?
No, I'm not.
Who's
You
not
know it.
getting rights? Who's not getting rights in America?
Excuse me?
Who's not getting rights in America?
A lot of people not getting
Who?
the same rights.
Who?
The Voting Rights Act and all that
Who's
stuff.
not getting rights in America, Maze?
People that that's stuck in your head that y'all talking about.
Who, Maze? We only have 1
Got
minute.
room in your head.
Maze, we have 1 minute. What?
1 minute?
Who's not getting rights in America?
I want for you to tell me.
No, you have the floor here to tell America the truth. You're about
America
to tell America the truth, Maze.
America don't
Who
want
doesn't
the
have
truth.
rights in America? Say it.
They don't want the truth, Nick.
Who doesn't have
They
rights
can't.
in
That's
America?
not what they're doing.
Maze, who doesn't have rights in America?
People that was born
and
here.
what rights don't they have?
People that was born here.
She doesn't know. She won't say
America
because it's
people,
not true.
I'm getting ready to tell you.
Call me.
People
Okay. Go ahead.
People that was born here, and they don't think that they should be taking office and doing different things that
She won't
everybody
say.
else
She
that's
refuses
here,
to
that don't
say.
look
She
like,
has no answer.
that don't
Chat.
look like them, because this is not
You're
a
hearing
white
her.
rural.
You're hearing her ramble
not
on
a-
about nonsense
I'm
because she
telling
has
you
no
that-
answer.
I'm gonna tell you, this is not a Caucasian rural, and it's not a Caucasian country.
Maze, who doesn't have rights and
God
what rights
put all
don't they
of us-
have?
Because we was all put here for some reason.
She does. She will never answer because she has no answer, Chat.
I do have an answer.
And I've given
You
you.
just don't want to let it sink
I've
in.
given you 4
But you
chances to
think-
respond, and you won't.
I done gave you 5 to tell you what I just said.
You can back
If you
up the
didn't
tape.
catch it,
Chat,
so
you can
stop-
back up the tape. She
so
had no
stop
answer.
So stop letting all this news media live free in your head about other people, and stop trying to disturb people, trying to make them look like they're bad.
Well,
Because everybody's not that way.
Well, that is somewhat sound, maybe.
In the world,
that might be somewhat sound
And
in a
everybody
parallel
looking at-
universe. Thank
and
you, Maze.
everybody looking at America, asking what's wrong with the people here.
Well, fair enough, Maze. On that
So
one,
somebody got to tell us what's wrong with them. They just evil. That's the problem. That's what's wrong with them. Some of them, Americans are just evil to the core.
we out of time, Maze. Can you call me
So
again?
you have a good one.
Rick, man, I wanted to get to you, but we truly went to the end. I was going to give you at least a quick minute or two there. But we had to hold Maze down to it, and I should have known. She had no response to that one. Who in America has no rights? And what rights are they missing? I'd like to know that. All right, folks, that's enough out of me. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. Thursday already. What kind of week is that for the Anchor Baby? But we'll be back tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby. And we got Punchy TV at 2 p.m. Don't miss it. 2 p.m. Pacific time. Punchy TV on YouTube. Punchy TV on punchy.tv. All right, folks. For real now. Oh, my gosh. I'm saying for real now. I can't go just yet. I need 1 more minute here. What a mess. I can't leave just yet without thanking Lori for her amazing coffees here that says, "Hi, Nick. Just wanted to show love and appreciation because it's so nice to see examples of real men from you, Mr. Hake, and all at the JLP crew. Thank you." And right back at you, Lori. Jermaine, we're going to check out your video you sent in via coffee. We're going to check it out together. Okay, we're going to show love to your link here, but we can't do that right now. And thanks everybody else. Cheddar Bob. I believe I met you, sir. Cheddar Bob. Well, thank you for that. Wishing you well out there. I'm sure you made it back home. I'm seeing your coffee because you made it back home safely. So thank you for that. And that's all for now. Okay, Rumble. Thank you, Rumble. Whoa. Thank you so much for the support there. One more thing to check, folks. What a mess. The super chats. Any moment now. Kaya, back at you, Kaya. Thank you for that. Says nothing to say, just hey. Kale with the back-to-back super chats. And all my supporters, folks. See you at Punchy later today, 2 p.m. Pacific time. And for now, for real now, I must go. Bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.